With the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cập nhất thiết chúng sanh, trên chiến diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đà la, pháp chư vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo Saranto Suchedoye Olahodi San Miao San Puto Xie. Namo Tadatha Toya Daya Alahade Tamyo Tambo Da Toa.
Namo Tadatha Adagaya Arahade Samya Sambuddhasa.
The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wondrul Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng sheng she wei miao fa bai jie wan jie nan zhao yi wo jin jie wen de shou qi yan jie ru lai zhen shi li. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Qing Liang, Venerable Shenhua, Venerable left home people, and all good advisors, Amitabha. 诸佛菩萨、金良大师、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Quốc sư, thầy Tiến Hóa, thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Today is very auspicious
오늘은
day.
굉장히 특별한 날입니다. 왜냐면은
Starting
오늘
lecturing on the 15th day of the lunar month.
음력 15일에 화엄경을 시작하기 때문입니다.
Coincidence.
굉장히 우연입니다.
I was driving up here
여기 올라오는데
last night,
어제 여기 올라올 때
I looked at the moon. I was like, wow,
달을 보고서 와,
like a full moon.
보름달이네 했습니다.
Anyway, today has been a long day in coming. In that, I've been meaning to lecture on
이
the
강의를
Avatamsaka Sutra
화엄경 강의를
for years now.
몇 년간 기다렸습니다.
And finally, we have a
마침내
chance to
우리가
start lecturing on
이거를 강의할 수 있게 되었습니다.
It is important sutra.
굉장히 중요한 경입니다.
Where is the sutra text? And oh, thank you. Finally, some sound. And this is very important sutra.
굉장히 중요한 경입니다. 왜냐면은
It's in keeping with the tradition of my late Chinese master.
선화상에는
Was really the most wonderful lecturer on this sutra.
이 경을 굉장히 잘 강의해 주셨습니다.
No one really dared lecture on the sutra because this is very, very difficult to lecture. And in my generation, his disciples, they all practically fell in love with it. It's a wonderful sutra. So I hope that we
모든 제자들이 다 이 화엄경을 좋아했습니다.
Appreciate it. And it is. I meant to explain the sutra not because I really understand it. Because it's very profound, very difficult to understand. Next slide, please.
들리세요? 잘 안 들려요?
I will try, of course,
잘 안 들려요?
to do my best to share with you what I know.
제가 아는 거를 다 최선을 다해서 가르쳐 드리겠습니다.
Is to transfer to you the knowledge about, particular knowledge about the sutra that's critical to me for the development of Mahayana in the West. In particular, my interest was to, in a very small way, add to the knowledge about the sutra that my late Chinese master, Master Xinhua, didn't have a chance to do, primarily because probably his students weren't ready for it. They weren't ready to receive the information. But for Mahayana to really prosper in the West, we need to transfer this knowledge from a Chinese into the Western languages.
지식을 중국에서 서양으로 들여야 됐습니다.
Is contained in this sutra, an explanation of the sutra by Master Jingliang. Okay.
청량국사가 번역을 했습니다.
We probably won't get to that until much later. But I want to tell you there's a real reason behind this. It's very important. I've been preparing to do this. It might take me 5 years, 10 years before I get to that stage where you are ready to receive it. Okay.
저는 여러분이 이거를
many of you will be ready to receive
준비해 될 때까지 한 5년, 10년을 기다렸습니다.
No longer a Chinese secret.
더 이상 이거는 중국의 비밀이 아닙니다. 여러분들이 받아들일 준비가 되어 있습니다.
Leave it a Chinese secret, it will be lost.
우리가 중국의 비밀로 그냥 둔다면은 우리는 이거를 잃게 됩니다.
So not only up to me, but also up to you to
여러분한테 달렸습니다. 그거를 이해하고 안 하고는
carry on and append to the Mahayana that Master Xinhua brought to this country.
선화상인이 가지고 온 불교를 받아들이고 안 받아들이고는 여러분에 달렸습니다. 여러분은 자격이 있습니다. 50년, 10년 동안 여러분이 준비가 되지 않았다면 나는 다시 5년, 10년 더 기다릴 것입니다. 이 경은 경전의 왕이라고 알려져 있습니다. 불교에서 경전의 왕으로 알려졌습니다. 굉장히 큰 경입니다. 산스크리트에서 사인 중국말로 번역이 됐습니다. 하나는 불타발다라 버전이고 하나는 시차난타 버전입니다. 이 시차난타 버전을 천하상인이 강의했습니다. 경은 9대중한테 설해졌습니다. 세 가지 버전이 있습니다. 용궁에서 가지고 왔다고, 용궁에는 세 가지 버전이 있었다고 합니다.
Sounds like Japanese, but I'm sure he's not Japanese. There's a big version
가장 큰 버전은 비로자나 부처님에 의해서 설해졌습니다. 중간 버전은 노사나불에 의해서 설해졌습니다. 노사나불은 보신 부처님입니다. 가장 짧은 버전은 석가모니 부처님에 의해 설해졌습니다. 이거는 용궁에 보관되어 있었습니다. 조사 용수보살이 굉장히 유명한 조사이신 용수보살이 용궁에 가서 신통력으로 용궁으로 가서 읽고 외워서 가장 짧은 버전이 우리가 더 이해할 수 있다고 싶다고 생각해서 가장 짧은 버전을 가지고 왔습니다. 45,000개를 가지고 왔습니다. 그 다음에 이거를 중국말로 산스크리트를 처음에 쓰고 중국말로 번역이 되었습니다. 모든 것이 다 번역이 되지 않았지만 40장 40장이 화엄경 화엄경의 가르침입니다.
Next. The sutra
이 경은 굉장히 심오합니다.
I will be the first one to tell you that I don't understand.
처음 읽었을 때 아무것도 이해 못했습니다. 제 능력밖에 없습니다. 하지만 다행스럽게도 중국 선사 청량국사 이분은 4대 조사 화엄학파의 4대 조사입니다. 굉장히 해박한 지식을 갖고 있습니다. 그래서 이분의 그 소는 경전 그 화엄경의 그 바이블로 알려져 있습니다. 선화상인은 이 청량국사의 그 해설을 바탕으로 설명을 했습니다.
It should be no surprise to us. It feels like Master Jingliang is actually
청량국사는
maybe known to outsiders as the flower adornment bodhisattva.
화엄의 보살로 알려져 있습니다.
Strong suspicion that he's probably a transformation body Buddha.
하지만 저는 이분은 부처님이 화신이라고 생각합니다. 부처님이 화신이어서 이 경을 다 이해할 수 있다라고 생각합니다. 부처님이 아니면은 이 경을 이해하는 것은 불가능합니다. 청량국사는 청량국사가 이해했다는 것은 부처님이 화신이 아닌가 싶습니다. 당 시절에 737년부터 838년까지 살았습니다. 9피트 정도의 키가 장신이고
5'9". He's 9 feet. He's even taller than a basketball player.
이분은 농구 선수보다 훨씬 키가 컸습니다.
Basketball nowadays. Never mind about the Avatamsaka Sutra. He make a fortune. So he's 9 feet tall. He has two pupils in his eyes.
눈동자가
see his eyes actually shine. Okay.
두 개씩 있어서 굉장히 눈이 밝았습니다.
a person with high spirituality. Okay, has 40 teeth. I don't know.
그의 팔이 무릎보다 더 길었고 이가 치아가 40개. 부처님처럼.
So Chinese. It is said that most of us have
대부분은 32개에서 38개의 치아를 갖고 있습니다.
Again, another
이거 치아의 수가 많다는 거는 부처님과 같은 그 징후입니다.
When we read, takes us the time to read one line, he will read 7 lines. Nowadays it's called speed reading.
그리고 이분은 굉장히 빨리 읽어서 7줄을 읽을 수 있습니다. 우리가 보통 한 줄 읽는 동안에.
I don't think you can still read 7 lines at a time. Highly intelligent.
굉장히
as a person. Next, please.
지식이 높았습니다.
Is known as a transformation body of flower adornment.
보살이 화신으로 알려져 있습니다.
There was an arhat anecdote where an arhat saw two youth at the border between China and India. He saw 2 youth flying in the air. So he used his spiritual power to stop them. And he asked them, "Stop! Where are you going?" And the youth would say, "We
동자를 멈추게 했습니다.
we're going from China to India."
동자가 중국에서 인도로
to seek some teeth of the flower adornment bodhisattva to bring back to no, that's from India to China, to bring back to India to worship and to make offerings.
치아를 가지고 인도로 다시 가지러 가려고 했습니다.
Keep going.
그래서 아라한이 설악을 했습니다. 가게께. 아라한이 중국으로 돌아갔는데 청량국사가 이미 죽었습니다. 관 뚜껑을 열고 치아를 찾았습니다.
He's actually a flower adornment bodhisattva. I believe that.
그 중국 사람들은 청량국사가 화엄보살이라고 믿지만
the Buddhists, they don't mess around. Trust me. If it's something as important as the Flower Adornment Sutra, they will not leave it to chances and have a bodhisattva explain it. Agree? I mean, Buddhas have Buddha standards. He's known as the 4th patriarch of the Huayin school.
화엄학파의 4대 조사로 알려졌습니다.
School. And he's born during the reign of Xuanzong.
현종 시대에 태어났습니다.
During the Tang dynasty.
당의 현종 시대에 태어났습니다. 11살에 출가했습니다.
This should tell you that this is a special individual. How many kids
굉장히 특별합니다. 11살짜리가 어떻게 스님이 되겠다고 생각을 했을까요?
Okay. So and then what you find, I find this interesting.
굉장히 흥미로운 걸 발견했습니다.
Is that they spend their early years studying, researching the Vinaya.
경을, 계를 공부합니다. 몇 년 동안, 수십 년 동안 경을, 계를 공부합니다. 20살 될 때까지 계를 공부했고 그 다음에 비구계를 받았습니다. 20살이 되기 전에는 계를 받을 수가 없습니다. 예외가 있긴 하지만 대개는 20살이 되어야 계를 받을 수 있습니다.
was the national master to 7. He tell you that they
아홉
tell you
황제를
that he
거쳤습니다.
had national recognition from the emperor.
7번
He
국사가
studied
되었습니다.
the third patriarch Fazang, which is famous
법장 스님 밑에서 공부를 하였습니다.
the Huayin school. Okay, and he's very learned.
굉장히 해박했습니다. 불교 이론에 굉장히 정통했습니다. 그리고 세속의 지혜도 밝았습니다. 주역에 아주 능통했습니다.
That's one of the superior knowledge that Chinese have.
주역은 중국에서 그 영적인 그런 지식입니다.
It's the wisdom considered to be wisdom. He wrote the commentary on the Huayin, the
화엄경의 그 소를 4년간 적었.
The best source of reference, best reference on the topic. It took him 4 years to write it.
4년이 걸렸습니다. 화엄경 소를 쓰는데 4년이 걸렸습니다. 굉장히 빠른 시간입니다.
He has when you look at these great individuals, you look at
위대한 사람을 보면은
what different about them. He has, and when he was a lay person, he also had these 10 requirements already.
이미
He wasn't fully ordained yet.
10가지
Very high standards. He said, I will live the rest of my life based on these 10 requirements I impose upon myself.
10가지 서원을 세웠습니다.
And it would be interesting, I figure, that for us to look at what those
그
requirements
10가지가 무엇인지 한번 살펴보는 것도 나쁘지 않습니다.
I look at them. I read this thing here about when I was going back from there, about 17, 18 years ago. Okay, and I look at this and that doesn't make sense. It's so Chinese. The first one is that the body will not renounce the Shramana's appearance, meaning what? They will always wear
항상
garments, robe. Okay, the garments of a monk would not grow a beard like Master Shenhua. Master Shenhua have a beard. Okay, a monk is not
가사를
supposed to have a
항상
beard.
착용합니다.
Chinese and Korean, excuse me, Korean people. You
사람들
see the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas have a mustache here.
여기
Buddhas
보살을
don't have
보면은
mustaches. No, Bodhisattvas. Okay, because it's not a Shramana's appearance. So, say we'll strictly
엄격하게
adhere to the appearance of a monk his entire life.
스님으로서의 모습을 갖추었습니다.
Number 2, his mind is not will not oppose the regulation of this come one, meaning that whatever rules of morality, rules of and regulations the Buddha imposed upon Buddhist monks, he would never violate them, any of them.
마음으로는 규칙을 어기지 않았습니다.
Again, that's why I suspect he's a Buddha. There's no way he can be a Bodhisattva.
그래서 저는
Only Buddhas.
부처라고 생각합니다.
Bodhisattvas, in my humble opinion, violate the Buddha's regulations left and right. Not him. That's impossible to do.
굉장히 불가능합니다.
Okay?
이렇게 하기가 불가능합니다. 마음으로 어기지 않는 것이 불가능합니다.
The Sutra of the Dharma realm, meaning that for his entire life,
평생 동안
he would never show his back to the Sutra of Dharma realm. What is the Sutra of Dharma realm? It's the flower adornment
법계의 그 화엄경을 등지지 않았습니다. 화엄경은 법계를 설명합니다.
Everything you need to know, you want to know about the universe, is all there.
우주에 관한 모든 것은 화엄경에 다 들어 있습니다.
Only the Buddhists can make that claim.
부처님만이 그렇게 할 수 있습니다.
Can see the entire Dharma realm.
부처님은 모든 법계를 관합니다.
Explain this Avatamsaka Sutra.
그것을 화엄경에 다 설명했습니다.
Person of the caliber of 칭량, 정관, master.
청량국사.
Yes, that's what the Buddha means.
그러니까 그걸 이해했다는 것은 부처라는 의미입니다.
So he says because that the information contained in that sutra is
경전에 들어있는 모든 정보가
extraordinary.
굉장히 특별합니다.
Okay. To be at the same level as the Buddha himself.
부처의 경지처럼 굉장히 특별합니다.
Even the emperor, you go see the emperor, bow the emperor, and then the emperor, okay, go. What do? You turn around and walk away. He will shoot you. Will chop your head off, right? Chinese people. I was never born in an emperor.
황제를 뵈러 갔을 때 인사를 하고 등을 등지나요? 그렇게 하면은 사형을 당합니다.
Okay, so he would never sit with his back to the sutra Dhamma.
그것처럼 청량국사는 결코 화엄경에 자기 등을 보이지 않았습니다.
The nature number 4, the nature is not defiled by the states of emotions. Chinese for what? Anyone? The Chinese is very literary. It's very, very nicely put. Okay. It means that he's totally emotionless.
네 번째는
Okay.
감정에 물들지 않는다.
You give a good food for lunch?
오늘 아주 좋은 음식을 먹었는데
This is such a good, great food.
굉장히 좋은 음식이었습니다.
And you find him pigging out at lunch? Never.
개걸스럽게 먹나요? 그렇지 않습니다.
How was lunch today, by the way?
오늘 점심 어땠습니까?
I'm so full.
저는 굉장히 배가 부릅니다.
Good thing you cannot see my tummy.
배가 너무 부릅니다.
This man here
이분은
has emotions.
감정이 있지만
But how can you have emotions not defiled by emotions?
감정이 어떻게 물들지 않을 수 있겠습니까?
He's no ordinary people.
일반 사람이라면 그렇게 할 수 없습니다.
When we have fun, right?
재미있는 게 있을 때, 좋은 음식을 즐길 때,
that's called defilement.
그것이 경계입니다. 우리 그것이 물든 생각입니다.
The pure Buddhist goes, they will tell you, you like food? Oh my God, you're just supposed to be a monk.
진정한 불자라면은
I'm going somewhere else where the truth.
어떻게 그럴 수가 있지라고 하겠죠.
Okay, so how can you have emotions not defiled?
어떻게 감정이 있지만 거기에 물들지 않을 수 있습니까? 그것이 위대한 보살의 경계입니다. 위대한 보살은 감정이 있지만 거기에 물들지 않습니다. 대마하살, 대보살, 부처님들은 이런 경계에 물들지 않습니다.
Number 5.
다섯 번째는
So number 4 shows you that when he talks about nature now, the nature, nature.
네 번째는 성품이 감정에 물들지 않는다.
Meaning that he's enlightened. No two ways about it. But not just enlightened. Very high level enlightenment.
이거는 깨달았을 뿐만 아니라 굉장히 높은 경지의 깨달음을 성취한 것 같습니다.
by emotions. Okay. Number 5.
다섯 번째.
He would not tread the dust of a nunnery.
발은
You can tell
비구니
that
스님이
it's okay to discriminate
저를
against nuns back then.
밟지 않는다.
That's Chinese. Okay.
이것도 약간 중국식입니다. 이 나라에서는 그렇게 하지 않습니다.
I think if we say to explain this to American people, Western,
미국 사람한테 이거를 설명하면은
you guys are so discriminatory. How can you become enlightened? You discriminate like
너무
that.
차별한다라고 그렇게 얘기를 합니다. 이렇게 차별하는 분별심이 있는데 어떻게 깨달을 수 있느냐 이렇게 얘기를 합니다. 근데 굉장히 흥미로운 거는 사실 저도 이거 굉장히 불편했습니다.
Who's Caucasian. And when I explained to her, when I became a novice monk, I explained to her
내가 삼이었을 때 이걸 설명했을
monks. And then she asked why. She was talking to the nun at our temple in a Long Beach monastery. She came to pay me a visit, and she happened to talk to a nun there who was also visiting another disciple of Master Xinhua. And so she's asking, how's your life as a nun and so forth? And so the other nun opened his big mouth and explained to her everything. She's Chinese nun. He says, I have to walk behind the monks. I've been here 20 years.
내가
I say I have to walk behind
20년 있었는데
and she said, why? Because the Buddha says all his wisdom tells us to.
항상 비구를 등지라고 해서 나는 항상 비구를 등졌습니다.
I was busy, but from afar I can see her face getting redder and redder. So by the time I got to see her, I said, hello, goodbye. I ran away right away. I said, no, not so fast. Tell me, why do you pick on women in your world? I thought you're supposed to be superior people. And I said, can I get back to you on that? So Westerners couldn't understand that.
서양 사람들은 이거를 이해하지 못합니다.
20 years ago, 20 years ago, we avoided talking about the nuns, the regulations, stuff like that, because we know none of us could face the wrath of the Western women.
그 비구니 스님에 대해서 이야기를 하지 않았습니다.
So to say that you never put your foot on the ground of a nunnery, that's really extreme.
비구니 스님이 그 절을 밟지 않는다는 건 굉장히 아주 극단적입니다. 왜 그렇게 합니까?
It's not for him, it's for us.
이거는 그를 위한 게 아니고 우리 비구 스님을 위한 것입니다.
It's not about him.
이거는 그에 대한 것이 아니라 그는 이미 큰 보살이기 때문에 상관없습니다. 비구니 스님 절을 가든 어딜 가든 상관이 없습니다.
Is it still around the Playboy Mansion? They walk into those places. It doesn't matter to them.
어디를 가든 상관이 없습니다.
Way above it. So, but for him to say that I'm going to be like this, initially it makes sense. For him to be older and still do this is for the sake of his disciples, his followers.
그의 그 제자들을 위해서 이거를 만들었습니다.
You guys are sheeps. Good. Okay. So anyway, it's very difficult to explain to Western women.
이거를 서양 사람들한테 설명하는 건 굉장히 어렵습니다.
All right. Luckily, I don't have to do that. I'm Asian. Number 6, ribs will not touch the bed of a lay person.
여섯 번째 등은
Meaning they would never go and use the bed or sleep on the bed of a lay person.
제가자들의 침상에 눕지 않는다.
Whether it's the bed that a lay person sleeps in the monastery or a bed outside the monastery, as long as the lay person touches it, he would never touch
제과자분이 그 만진 거는
That's how pure he is.
만지지 않았습니다.
Speaking of discriminating against women, this is even worse.
이거는 훨씬 더
It's both women and men,
심각합니다.
and children and babies. Very extreme
굉장히
Chinese person.
극단적인
7. The
것입니다.
eyes do not gaze at improper spectacles.
눈으로는 부적합한 것을
No
보지 않는다.
kung fu movies.
쿵푸 영화 같은 걸 보지 않습니다.
That's too much.
이것도 너무합니다.
What about culture? I object to this.
문화는 어떻게 합니까? 저는 여기에
Would you agree with me
반대합니다.
that in this day and age, the TV is such an
TV는
important
굉장히 요즘엔
means
중요합니다.
of education.
교육으로
종인 you agree or not? He watches
동의하십니까?
Netflix, by the way.
종인 스님 굉장히 지금 많은 걸 보고 있습니다.
Yes?
동의합니까?
It's very cultural.
굉장히 문화로서
I learned
필요합니다.
so much from PBS.
PBS 같은 거.
Okay? So, improper spectacles.
굉장히 부적합한 광경.
This is incredible of a man.
이건 너무 놀라운 분입니다.
That's why he's able
그래서
to understand
그는
the sutra
경을 이해할 수 있습니다.
that we can't.
하지만 우리는 할 수 없습니다.
And the tongue, number 8, the tongue would not taste edibles
혀는
after noon.
오후가 지나면
Okay.
정오가 지나면 맛있는 것을 먹지 않는다.
He observes strictly the one meal a day.
하루에 한 끼 먹는 거를
Meaning you don't
엄격하게
eat after noon.
지켰습니다.
Okay.
정오가 지나면 먹지 않습니다.
But
하지만
the one thing that
가지
you have to pay attention
우리가
to the way the Chinese
주목해야 할 점은
it's very subtle.
굉장히 미묘합니다.
It's important to remember the context of all this information. This is about the behavior or the standards of a great sage.
이거는
Okay? Not just
위대한
anyone. So that's why did they say
성인의
taste
행동 거지입니다.
meaning what?
맛을 보지 않는다라는 것은 무슨 의미입니까?
He's not seeking
그는
flavors.
맛을 추구하지 않습니다. 맛을 탐하지 않습니다. 맛있는 것을 탐하지 않습니다.
What's the point in living? I ask myself. You can't enjoy good food.
우리는 좋은 음식도 지킬 수 없나요? 이런 너무하네요.
Okay, so I don't get it. How can you not live and not enjoy food?
어떻게 좋은 음식을 없이 어떻게 살 수 있나요?
Number 9.
아홉 번째,
Hand not let loose of brown bright beads. He's always held his beads.
손은 염주를 놓지 않는다.
Okay, even while sleeping. Think about it.
잠자는 동안에도
How is it possible?
생각해 보세요. 그게 어떻게 가능합니까?
This morning, people asked me,
오늘 아침에 사람이 물었습니다.
"Can I sit sleep?
앉아서
Can I
자도
slouch?"
앉아서 자는데 구부려서 자도 되나요? 물었습니다.
This guy would not even let
이분은
loose the beads even when he's sleeping.
염주를
How is it
놓치지도
possible?
않습니다. 어떻게 이게 가능합니까?
It's incredible the standards he has, and you know what it means that he never failed. He does this his entire life. It's
평생
fascinating.
보면 염주는 소용없지 않았습니다.
Okay,
놀랍습니다.
the kind of samadhi he has,
얼마나
24
높은
hours a day.
산미력이 있습니까?
Okay, you know the Hinayana people that talk about mindfulness.
소승에서
This
마음
is
챙김을
supreme
얘기하는데
mindfulness. You hold it in your hands,
굉장히
24 hours a day. Think about it.
마음
The
챙김,
Hinayana people talk about mindfulness, mind you, right? You go to any other
마음
meditation
챙김을 많이
classes,
얘기합니다.
and shame on you, traders.
그러지 마세요.
You go to any other meditation classes around the Bay Area, it will tell you about mindfulness, right? Yeah, you have to be mindful. You have to meditate. You have to learn to be mindful, right? Xiao Kai, huh? Have to be mindful. Remember, boy? Okay.
마음 챙김을 해라.
And they keep on talking about it.
계속 그거에 대해서 얘기를 해라.
Venerable Chengguan, he holds his beats 24 hours a day.
청관
It's
스님은
nothing more mindful than this. Think about it.
항상 염주를 손에 놓지 않았습니다. 이거는 마음 챙김보다 훨씬 더한
Every day.
것입니다. 매일
It's incredible state.
굉장히 놀라운 경지입니다.
tent at night, not apart from ropes and bowl.
밤에는
When it's hot,
의발을 잊지
when it gets to
않는다.
be 100 degrees at night, he still
밤에 잠잘 때도
wears his sash.
가사를 입고 잡니다.
Okay, it means that. By the way, back up a little bit. There's a rule for that. Don't be confused about this. Not apart from ropes and bowl doesn't mean he holds it like this. He holds a bowl like this. Okay.
볼을 잡고 잡는다.
Doesn't look good.
하지만 이렇게 하면은 별로
Monks and nuns, please pay attention.
좋지 않습니다.
Especially you Koreans, extreme Koreans. Don't have to do that. Okay. It means in the Buddha's regulation, at night.
밤에
Okay. At night, we are supposed to
우리는
have our 3 ropes and our bowl
의발을
within reach.
가까이
That's all it means.
두어야 한다라는 의미입니다.
You don't need to hold it.
우리는 그걸 잡을 필요가 없습니다. 계속 잡고 있을 필요는
Okay, the
없습니다.
hands is for the beats, remember? Okay.
우리는
So if you put the
옆줄을
beats here and the ropes and bowl here, how are you gonna
옆줄을 한 손에 잡고 한 손에는 의발을 잡는다면
drink tea?
어떻게 하면 어떻게
So
차를 마실
that's
수
impossible.
있습니까?
So that's why. So that's the constancy of his
항상
cultivation.
수행한다는 의미입니다.
Incredible individual.
놀라운 사람입니다.
So he sets his standards just so high up there. And that's
그
why,
기준을
that's why
굉장히
he's
높게
able
잡습니다.
to attain a state of mind that enables him to
그래서
understand the flower
화엄경을
adornment
이해할 수
sutra.
있는 그런
It
경지에
takes that
이를 수
kind of
있습니다.
mindset to be able to understand.
이런 마음가짐이 있어야 합니다.
All right? Okay, more information.
더 자세한 정보는
repetitive here. Jingyan, okay, is the name of the mountain.
청관 스님은
Chengguan is actually his dharma name. Jingyang is
법명입니다.
the
신관은
name of the mountain there, where when he cultivated. Jingyang is Chinese for pure and cool.
청관은
It's a mountain
시원하고
peak
청량하다.
in the Wutai Shan in China. I think Wutai Shan is Chungnan, right?
오대산에 살았습니다.
Is it Chungnan or not? Wutai is in the Chungnan area. Oh, the Chinese don't know their geography anymore.
중국이 아무 중국인도 다 이거 모릅니다. 이 지역이 어디 있는지.
Now the Chinese is making money. No more geography.
지리에 대한 지식이 전혀 없네요.
Okay, so he lived in the Wutai is a sage area in China.
굉장히 그
You wanna go
성스러운
and through,
지역인
you
오대산에
find,
살았습니다.
The great Bodhisattva was there, and the low
보살들이 계셨고
Chinese monks there as well. Okay.
많은
It's
스님들이
on
거기
the Jingyang
살았습니다.
Mountain, and he spoke Dharma to the emperor,
청량스님은
one of the Tang emperors, and the emperor said,
황제한테 법설했는데
listening to you, you have caused me to become pure and cool.
스님 덕분에 굉장히 내가 청량해졌습니다.
That's why pure and cool. Why is that?
굉장히 청량해졌다고 했습니다. 왜 그랬을까요?
Huh? Why did the emperor say that?
왜 황제가 이렇게 얘기를 했을까요?
I expect the Chinese to know.
중국 사람들이 알기를 바랬는데
He entered samadhi.
삼매에 들었기 때문입니다.
When
맞습니다.
Master Chengguan was speaking
스님이
Dharma, because
법을
that day
설할
was the
때
birthday of the emperor. So the emperor,
그날은 황제의
back then, in the
생일날이었습니다.
Tang Dynasty, the Tang emperors
당나라
were extremely wise and
황제는
blessed.
굉장히 현명했습니다.
And the people who are extremely wise and blessed, they're drawn
굉장히
near Mahayana.
복이
So he
많았습니다.
would, for celebration
그래서
of
복이
his
많아서
birthday,
불법을 가까이
he
했습니다.
invited Master Chengguan
청관
to come
스님을
to the
생일날
palace to speak Dharma to him.
초대해서 법을 듣고자 했습니다.
Okay, I would go for a ride on Half Moon Bay on my birthday. But him, no. He called someone and say, "Talk to me.
그분은
Speak Dharma to me.
법사를 초청해서 법을
Wouldn't you rather
청했습니다.
fly to Paris for a shopping spree and a restaurant?
쇼핑이나
edible?
레스토랑 같은
No.
데를 가지
Speak Dharma to me.
않습니까? 보통은 이제
And so,
법을 청했습니다.
and clearly, it's not the first time.
이건 첫 번째가 아닙니다.
That's why when Master Chengguan spoke Dharma to the emperor on that
청관
particular day,
스님을 특별한 날에 초청합니다.
he spoke it so well
너무
that
법을 잘
the emperor entered samadhi, and when you enter samadhi,
황제가
you feel
삼매듭니다.
cool, and you
삼매
feel
들면은
very
굉장히
blissful, and you're very happy.
머리가 시원하고
Okay, and that
행복하고
kind of happiness, that kind of
지복에
great
듭니다.
feelings
그런
that
좋은
you
감정이
cannot get from eating, from drinking, from marijuana.
먹는다거나 뭐 마리화나
No way.
그런 걸로 느낄 수 없는 감정들입니다.
Okay, it's out of this world, and that's why
이거는 세상에서 느낄 수 없는 감정입니다.
so impressed. It's
그래서
like, wow, today,
이 황제가 굉장히
I feel so
감명을
special.
받아서
And because of
굉장히
that, he named him Jingliang,
청량
national
스님한테
master. Okay, and they renamed the mountain where he cultivated as Jingliang Mountain, I think. Okay, Chinese commentary. Okay, can we take out the 10 self-requirements here? Okay, and in 796, toward the end of his life, 40 years before he died, he went to
790년에
Chang'an, which back then the
창안에
capital
갔습니다.
of China. to
그때
help do his translation.
황제였습니다.
쇠장,
현장 스님한테
translating the sutras from Sanskrit into Chinese.
경을
So 쇠장, great master
산스크리트에서 중국말로 번역하라고 했습니다. 그래서 현장 스님이 많은 스님을 모집해서 번역을 했습니다.
Okay, to translate from Sanskrit into Chinese.
산스크리트에서 중국말로
Indian monks,
번역을 했습니다. 그래서 여러 스님들, 인도 스님들, 중국 스님들 여러 스님이 모였습니다.
Back then, only monks.
오직 스님만이었습니다. 비구 스님만이었습니다.
So when it came to the Avatamsaka Sutra,
화엄경에서
the 쇠장,
현장 스님이
Master 쇠장 didn't understand. So
이해를 못해서
Master Jingliang had to go to Chang'an to help translate.
청량 스님한테 도와달라고 했습니다.
Help certify a lot of translation.
그래서 청량 스님은 또 많은 그 경을 검토했습니다. 법화경, 능가경, 중론.
So you see, he's all over the map. There's nothing he does not know. Again,
그래서 모르는 것이 없었습니다.
that he's got to be a Buddha.
모르는 것이 없기 때문에 부처님이 확실합니다.
We can spend our entire life
평생 동안
cultivating,
수행에 힘썼습니다.
and researching, and you're lucky if you can understand one school versus many schools, and that Master Chengguan is able to. Okay, it has again. So you see, he sets the standards. Okay, a behavior.
굉장히
And also standards for accomplishment. Accomplishment is what?
놀라운 업적을 나셨습니다.
It takes a man to explain sutras. Okay, in Buddhism, if you are a real man, you have to explain sutras.
불교에서 진정한 스님이라면은 경을 설해야 됩니다.
Women too. Actually, many of Master Hsuan-Hua's non-disciples explain the Avatamsaka Sutra as well, but I'm not impressed. Used to be. Anyway, so it's so important.
굉장히
that
중요합니다.
what Master Jingliang did was
청량
to show the way for the
스님이
future generations. The standards of
미래 세대를 위해서
self-discipline,
어떻게 행동을 해야
standards
되는지,
of erudition, of wisdom,
지혜는 어떻게 어느 정도까지 갖춰야 되는지
and also
본보기를
as
보여주었습니다.
important, great many disciples.
그 많은 훌륭한 제자들이 나왔습니다. 선화상인처럼.
Master Shinhwa was a very pure monk.
선화상인도 굉장히 순수한
Wonderful
스님이었습니다.
sutras in a way it hasn't been done before.
많은 경을 설했습니다. 선화상인도.
Many
많은
great disciples.
훌륭한 제자들도 양성했습니다.
So there's some real famous Weifeng Zhongmi.
규봉종밀 스님, 동도 승예 스님,
and Haiyin,
해인 법인.
I don't know why the four names. Oh yeah, it's the Dharma name and then the place where they cultivate. I guess. Jiguang Siren.
적광사인.
And then finally as Mengxia Suzhe.
문화사천. 이런 분들을 양성했습니다.
And later Zhongmi was in.
나중에 종밀 스님이 화엄경을 계승했습니다. 그리고 5대 조사가 되었습니다.
Questions, comments? Standards of a great man. He passed away at in
838년에 102살의 나이로 열반에 들었습니다. 70년 범납 70년이었습니다. 굉장히 놀랍습니다. 9피트 장신.
70, 80, then you have problems walking, I imagine.
한 70이 지나면은 걷는데 아마 문제가 생겼을 겁니다.
Yes.
I saw he left home at age of 11.
11살에
101 years old, then the Dharma age should be.
출가했다고 들었는데 범납이 왜 70년인가요?
I leave the math to you and
90, yeah, just small correction.
I don't care.
저는 별로 상관하지 않습니다.
Not interested in math. I'm a monk.
별로 중요한 게 아니에요.
Okay, you money counters.
돈을 세는 사람들.
Just 70 years, 60 years. You know.
70년, 60년.
In this day and age, forget about 70 years of Dharma age. That's impossible. Okay,
별로 문제될 거 없습니다.
It's not done anymore. Okay, I just pray to God I live to be 30 years of Dharma age if I'm lucky.
30년 범납이라면 요즘 같은 시대에 30년 범납이라면 그것도 참 대단한 것입니다. 그의 설명은 굉장히 놀라웠습니다. 진정한 지혜를 알기를 원한다면 중국말로 된 걸 읽으세요. 선화상인이 설명한 것
and then he dropped off. He stopped explaining. Probably realized that his disciples are
설명을 했는데 나중에 설명하는 거를 많이 줄였습니다. 왜냐하면 제자들이 잘 못 알아들어서. 정관 스님의 그 기준이 아주 높습니다.
I remember reading the prologue of to the sutra, something like close to 20 years ago, because I was
20년 전에
sutra. You see, you need time to prepare. I figure. So I said, what's the best way
해야 돼서
to prepare to lecture?
강의 준비를 해야 돼서
Then reading the Flower Adornment Sutra.
화엄경 읽었습니다. 선화상인의 화엄경을 영어로 읽었습니다.
Not complete, but they had some explanations of
설명이 좀 있었습니다.
And I read the thing. The prologue is about 4 volumes. First volume, second volume, third volume.
1권, 2권, 3권, 4권.
It's not even the complete prologue. Okay?
읽었는데 다 읽지 못했습니다.
I couldn't understand a thing.
어떤 것도 이해하지 못했습니다.
Okay? I imagine some of you are like that as well.
여러분들도 아마 그럴 것입니다.
It's important.
굉장히 중요합니다.
Listen, because those seeds are of the highest quality possible.
가장 그 좋은 씨앗이 심어지기 때문에 그냥 하면 됩니다.
So recently I started reading it again and began to appreciate a few pages here and there.
다시 읽는데
So it's should be challenging.
굉장히 어렵습니다.
Go into next. Okay. The Huayan school proposes to analyze sutras by
화엄경을 공부하는
10 doors.
종인데 10가지 설명하는 방법이 있습니다.
Number one,
첫
causes
번째는
conditions of the arisal of the teaching. And let's go through them quickly. Don't try to understand too much because you only
너무 많은
embarrass me.
거를 이해하려고 하지 마세요. 그러면은
Sometimes
나를 당황하게 합니다.
just read it.
그냥
Just listen to it.
읽고
Number two,
들으세요. 그냥.
stories and teachings containing it. So you first of all you look at
처음에는 먼저
how was the sutra
어떻게 경이
explained?
설해졌는지,
What's the reason for the sutra
경이 설해진 이유,
to be explained, to be spoken?
를 설명합니다.
What was the circumstances
어떤
that
상황인지.
enabled that to happen? Number two,
두 번째는
once you look at the sutra here, then you
경을
have to look
보면
at to classify it. What kind of sutra it is?
분류합니다.
What kind of stores?
어떤 장에 속하는지,
And what kind of teaching the
어떤
sutra
가르침이
contains?
있는지
Okay.
분석합니다.
And number three,
세 번째는
apportionment of meanings and principles. So we explain the sutra has each sutra
각각의
carries a
경은
set of principles and theories and
이론이
teachings that are very
있습니다.
important and that need to convey
중요한 이론이 있습니다.
to the listeners, the audience. Okay, and why is that? Because they correspond to the potentials, the people who listen.
사람들이 듣는 사람들에
I
따라서
feel one of the reasons that Ma Hua did not explain a lot of
선화상이는
more advanced teachings from Master Chengguan's analysis of the sutra is because his disciples
많은 걸
were not
설명하지
ready
않았습니다.
to receive
왜냐하면
it.
제자들이 수준이
Would be a
높지
waste of
않았기
time
때문에
for them. Okay?
시간 낭비를 하게 하고 싶지 않았기
You
때문입니다.
can go so far.
그래서 깊이 들어갈 수
So
없었습니다.
number four is that you only explain sutras to the people who are
네 번째,
who
경은
can benefit from that.
그 설명을
So
듣고
this sutra
이득을
here
얻을 수 있는 사람들에게
originally was
설명합니다.
explained to bodhisattvas,
그래서 처음에
not for us.
부처님은 보살님들한테
Buddha, after he
설법했습니다.
became a Buddha,
부처님이 깨달으신 후
first thing he did
첫 번째로
was
한 거는
to speak sutras, to speak the
경을
sutra for 21 days.
설했습니다. 21하루 동안에 보살님들에게 경을 설했습니다.
Was spoken by Vairocana Buddha
비로자나
and Nishyana Buddha.
부처님, 노사나
Those two
부처님,
Buddhas are the kind of Buddhas that the
부처님,
arhats,
아라한들에게
cannot see,
경을 설했습니다.
cannot hear. And that's why when the Buddha is explaining that in 21 days, it's for the bodhisattvas,
하루
not for the
동안에
arhats, not for the sound hearers, not for the humans.
인간이나
Okay.
병지물한테 설하게 하시고
For us to be able
보살님들한테
to listen to
설했습니다.
it is a real requires tremendous level of blessings. Okay.
굉장히 큰 복이 필요합니다.
Okay. You are planting the seeds of great wisdom.
큰 지혜를 얻기 위한 씨앗이 있어야 합니다.
It took a great bodhisattva like my Master Hsuan
선화상인과 같이
and to bring it to the West.
큰 보살님이
Sees,
중국으로
how
불교를
great the
들여와서
potentials are in that he feels that we are worthy, okay,
우리가
to listen,
법을 들을
to be exposed to
준비가
this
되어
particular
있다고 생각해서
Dhamma called Avatamsaka Sutra, okay, which is all there is to know about the universe.
경을 설했습니다. 특히 이 화엄경은 온 우주에 대한 경입니다.
Number five, the teaching substance, whether it's shallow or it's deep, and so forth. Okay. Number six, the purpose of the sutra the goal and
경의 목적,
how pervasive, where it's supposed to go, and how different it
어떤
is
방향으로
compared to the
서려졌는지,
other Buddhist teachings.
다른 가르침하고 어떻게 차별이 되는지.
Classification by category, chapter, and assembly
일곱
is
번째,
very literary, very scholarly. The Huayin school is extremely
카테고리를 만듭니다.
scholarly. Okay, so they categorize everything.
모든 걸
And
분류합니다.
the
여덟
response
번째,
insights in transmission and translation. When they were translating and
번역을 할
this
때
particular sutra, they have a lot of different responses.
많은 감흥이 왔었습니다.
So it's well documented. And then number 9, explanation, general explanation of sutra title. And number 10,
경의
the sutra
제목을
body itself,
설명하고
explaining
열
the content of the
번째는
sutra.
경을
So that's a very
전문을
detailed analysis
자세하게 설명합니다.
of the sutra itself. Okay. Any question? I've been talking for over an hour now after a full lunch.
1시간 동안 제가 설명했는데
I don't blame you for being sleepy, because I am sleepy. I bore myself to death. Okay? No questions?
질문이 없습니까?
Look, the Koreans, they sit still, sit straight.
한국인들은
It's because they haven't had lunch yet.
아주 똑바로 앉아 있습니다. 왜냐면 아직 점심 전이기 때문입니다.
Question?
질문 있습니까?
Hello. So I have a question. For the monk that said that, well, he wanted to achieve pureness, and I don't know if maybe I misunderstood. Can a Buddhist achieve pureness by being of the world? What do you mean by that? By being with the poor, with the sick, with the stupid, with the lay person? You know what I'm trying to say?
Repeat that, please.
So the monk was trying to reach pureness, or he was considered pure, right? But then he refuses to be on the bed or like sleep on the bed of the lay person, or like, and he got all these rules for himself. But my question is, can someone in Buddhism reach pureness by be of the world, like part of the world, by helping the poor, the stupid, giving dharma to all living beings, right? But I feel like he was trying not to be, like he to keep to himself. I don't know, maybe I misunderstood.
I missed the last few sentences. Please repeat them.
So if you, like, for example, the monk was trying to be pure, or he was considered to be pure.
Yes.
But he refused, or he didn't want to, like, sleep on the bed of a lay person, or like, and all these rules that he had. Is it not better, or can a Buddhist achieve pureness that he had by being with the poor, with the stupid, with the lay person, with the sinners, with all these people that are maybe outcasts of society? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but can someone achieve that pureness?
What about pureness again? I keep on missing a few words here and there. I apologize.
계속 질문에
So,
단어를
the monk
놓치고
was
있습니다.
trying to be separated from society, and he kind of
Yes.
wanted to keep to himself.
Okay.
That's my perspective.
Yeah.
So-
Can you repeat that, please? I'm kidding. Oh, you do have a sense of humor.
My question
you're
is,
so patient. It takes the Buddhists who have given up already say, Master, it's okay, it's okay.
불자라면은 벌써 포기했었을 겁니다.
But it's okay. Continue.
my
계속하세요.
question is, the monk was trying to achieve pureness, or he was pure. He was considered to be pure. But my question is, can a Buddhist achieve pureness by being part of the world? By what I say by that is by helping the poor, the people that don't giving the dharma to other human beings are not considered to be pure or like lay persons, because he kind of like, for me, he feels that he wants to be separated from the world.
Yeah, kind of extreme, isn't it?
굉장히 극단적이죠. 굉장히 실용적인 게 아니다. 동의합니다.
I agree.
현실적인 게
Okay, then we
아닙니다.
are in agreement. Sorry it took so long to get to the same conclusion. I agree. It's so extreme.
동의합니다. 굉장히 극단적입니다.
That's precisely my point, Daniel, because it is because he has such high standards.
굉장히
We
기준이 높아서
low-level people
우리
cannot
낮은
possibly
수준의
make
사람들은
sense out of it. But to him, it makes completely.
말이 이해가 되지 않습니다. 하지만 그한테는
Makes sense.
굉장히 그것이 당연한
So that's why I
것입니다.
can't explain it to you.
그래서 제가 설명할 수 없습니다.
Let me put it this way for you. See if it helps. Okay.
이렇게 설명한 것이 도움이 되는지 한번 봅시다.
He is so pure
굉장히
that
순수했습니다.
he would not lay his back on the bed that's previously used by a lay person. Okay? You know what it means to me?
제과자분들이 사용한 것에 등을 대지 않았습니다.
Offer up and Craigslist will be out of business. You guys are non-shoppers like me. You
저처럼
wouldn't understand or appreciate these things.
그렇게 쇼핑을 한 사람이 있나 봐요.
Okay. No, it's interesting because Daniel, think about it. At some point during the day, we need to have some rest, don't we?
우리는
Right?
휴식이
And
필요합니다.
when you think rest, you
휴식을
want to lie
생각할
down
때
somewhere.
우리는
Yes?
눕고 싶습니다.
So for him to say,
그에게는
my back will not touch a bed, like touched by a lay person anywhere. It shows that
땅에
he
대지
doesn't mingle
않는데 어떻게 제과자분과 친절히
with
볼 수
lay people
있습니까?
in such environments. So it is a state of mind.
그거는
I myself
마음의
don't understand
경지입니다.
why so extreme. Okay.
왜 그렇게 극단적입니까?
But if the best way, my only
가장 좋은
excuse
거는
is that if you really try to understand that, try to be like that.
이해하고자
your entire
한다면은
life. Then maybe someday you
평생
understand.
동안은 그렇게
My
한번
point is
해보세요.
that,
그러면
Daniel, please be
언젠가
careful. Okay?
이해할 날이 올 것입니다.
Can
하지만
I be honest
주의하세요.
with you, Daniel? Okay? Just because we don't understand,
우리가 이해하지
it doesn't mean you
못한다고
have
해서
to reject it.
그걸 거부할 필요는 없습니다.
The point is that
요점은
these great sages, these great
이
beings,
위대한 분은
set a standard to do it a certain way.
어떤 경지까지 우리가 상상을 넘어서는 경지까지
It only means
그것을
that they know
규칙을
something that we
정했습니다.
don't.
그 말은 그들은 우리가 모르는
And the
어떤
only
거를
way
알고 있다는
for you to
것입니다.
find out
그리고 우리가 그것을
is by
알기
doing
위한 유일한
If you
방법은
cannot, you make a vow to not ever let your
만약에
back touch your
등을
own bed.
침대에 눕지
You're a lay person,
않겠다라고
aren't you?
그렇게 선을 세운다면
Then maybe someday
어느
you understand
날
why.
그 이유를 알게 될 날이 올
That's my
것입니다.
point. Do you get it? I admit to you, I don't understand. I
제가
feel it's extreme.
이해하지
too.
못합니다.
But
저도
however,
극단적이라고
be careful.
생각합니다.
Do
하지만
not say it's nonsense and
그것이
say no, I'm
말이
not going to
되지
do it.
않는다고 해서
Sometimes when you listen to the
하겠다라고
Dharma,
하지 마세요.
Daniel, you don't understand. It's okay, I don't understand. Let me put on.
법문을
Let me shelve
들으면
it for now.
이해를 못하는 때가
Okay?
있어요.
Don't reject it.
그래도
Yeah.
그걸 거부하지
And
마세요.
that's wisdom.
그것이
These
지혜입니다.
sages
이
set the standard for a
성인은
reason. Because it's beneficial for them and for us as well. I believe that.
그렇게
Just
하는
because I
것이
don't understand doesn't mean I will reject it.
이해하지
I would say,
못한다고
I
해서
don't understand it.
거부하는 것이 아닙니다.
And
이해를 하지
someday,
못해도 어느 날
When I become Catholic,
내가
I might try it.
카톨릭이 되면
Okay? For now, it's too late. I'm a Buddhist monk already.
지금 너무 늦었습니다. 저는
Yes, YouTube question.
입니다.
Okay, as expected, we have YouTube problems.
Master, would people listen to this monk today considering how worldly our society is today?
Would people listen to this monk?
Considering how worldly our society is today.
You know, it's a fair question, but you ask the wrong person.
세상이
So
굉장히
I want you to
세속적인가요?
understand that this monk is out of the world. So you ask me, I say yes, absolutely. Okay,
이
it still
스님은
makes sense to me. Okay?
굉장히
Because he has it. If he does it, he says, "I'm going to do that." It means that, listen. If he says, "I'm going to do it this way," he actually says, "Why don't you try it?" And you see for yourself why I did this my entire life and ended up explaining this fantastic sutra that you can't, why you cannot. Okay? So it's a challenge to me. So yes, for
이것은 굉장히 저한테
nowadays,
어렵습니다.
it's probably too
요즘은
extreme to most people.
요즘 세대 보면 이게 너무나 이것이 극단적입니다.
Obscure monks like me, I would set it as maybe not this lifetime,
이번 생은 힘들고
but in the future,
다음
I would love
생에
to try.
해보고
I make a
싶다
vow to try in the future.
라고 그렇게
Right now,
소원을 세우고 싶습니다. 지금은 제가 너무
I need
나이가
my
많습니다.
lunch and my bed. Okay, I admit to you. Okay, but it doesn't mean that it's nonsense. It's
말이
something
되지
that
않는다고
I believe it's so beneficial. Because let me put it this way.
가치가 없는
I
것이
don't know
아닙니다.
anyone
저는 아무도
I can
모릅니다.
think of who can explain the Flower Adornment Sutra the way
화엄경을 이
this man did.
스님처럼
No one
설명할
I
수
can think of.
있는
Not my late Chinese teacher.
그런 분은 아무도 알지 못합니다.
Not Rinpo Xuyun.
선화상인도 못하고
No one I can
허운
think of.
스님도 못하고 아무도
And
그럴 사람이
to me,
없습니다.
the only thing I can relate to is the
제가
fact he can reach that state because
그
of his tough standards. This is impossible standard.
이분이 그렇게 높은 경지까지 갈 수 있던 거는 그렇게 극단적인 기준을 적용했기 때문입니다. 우리가 시도를 하지 않는 한 우리는 결코 알지 못합니다. 도움이 됐습니까?
Okay. Still another question? Yes. Me too.
Our goal be.
Okay. Repeat that, please.
How should we listen to the sutra? What kind of attitude or mindset should we have? And what should our goal be?
어떤 마음가짐으로 경을 읽어야 합니까?
How should we listen to this
경을
sutra?
들어야 됩니까? 어떻게 경을 들어야
You should
됩니까?
listen
들을 때
without thinking.
생각을 하지 말고 들으세요.
Just listen.
그냥 들으세요.
Okay. Don't sit there and worry
앉아서
about anything else.
어떤
Just
걱정을
listen.
하지 마세요. 그냥 들으세요.
Listen and listen.
그냥 들으세요,
So when
계속.
You sit there and listen to this, and you say,
계속
"I see this view,
들으면은
that's fine." But then other thoughts come in. You say,
다른 생각이 듭니다.
Did I turn off my oven?
여러 가지 생각이 듭니다. 내가 오븐을
Okay.
껐나?
Happen to you? Anyone?
이런 생각 들어본 적
Happen to you
있나요?
all the time. Those extraneous thoughts that pop in mind, ignore them. That's how you should listen. All right? That's for
무시하세요.
most of you. For those you are a little bit better, You should listen and really focus on the sound. Okay?
소리에 집중을
Listen to
쓰는
the sound.
것입니다.
Okay. Is there a song to that effect? I forgot. Okay, so listen and just concentrate. Okay, listen. And number 3, do not try to understand.
이해하려고 하지 마세요.
The Buddha Dharma is not meant for you to understand.
이해할 수 있는 것이 아닙니다.
Because your understanding is not that important. Okay, what we're doing right now is
우리가 지금 하는
help
것은
plant the seeds.
씨앗을 심는 것입니다.
Seeds.
위대한 씨앗을
Better seeds in Mahayana.
우리 안에 대승의 씨앗을 심는 것입니다.
And it needs to happen for you to be able to become a Buddha quicker.
그러면은 우리가 더 빨리 불처가 될 수 있습니다.
We're planting seeds.
씨앗을 심는 것입니다. 이해할 수 있는 것이 아니라 이해를 하는지 안 하는지는 중요하지 않습니다.
It is so important. Trust me.
씨앗을 심는 것이 중요합니다. 시간을 들여서 들으세요.
Because opportunities like this will not
이런 기회는
happen very often.
자주 있는 기회가 아닙니다.
I really feel ashamed myself.
굉장히 부끄럽고 안타깝습니다. 10년 동안
took him 10 years to explain this sutra.
경을 설했습니다. 선화상에는.
I were there.
제가 거기 있었으면 합니다.
Because if I were there,
제가
I
거기
would have so many
있었으면은
questions.
저는 굉장히 많은 질문을 했을 것입니다. 전 질문이 있지만 어디에 물어야 될지 잘 모르겠습니다. 듣고 질문하세요. 그렇게 하면
you will find that many of you will find
많은
that it's
재미를
very,
찾을
very
것입니다.
enjoyable.
굉장히 재밌는 걸 많이
Just like
듣고
the emperor when Master Jingyang spoke Dharma
법
to him,
황제처럼
you will enjoy it because when I remember when I
즐길 수
was
것입니다.
in Calgary,
캘거리에 있을 때
Avatamsaka
화엄경을
temple. It's funny.
화엄경
And
사찰을
it was the first time
발견했습니다.
where
처음에
Master Eunzo, a white monk, whose samadhi was even lower than mine,
저보다 선배력이 낮은 스님인데
allowed us to listen to the sutra after lunch.
점심 공연
So this
후에
sutra, Master Shenhua's tapes
법을
on this flower adornment sutra. So every
들었습니다.
day after lunch,
매일
on Sunday, okay.
일요일 30분에
He's always running around looking at properties. They have so many properties. They're so rich. These people are incredible.
겉도 굉장히 부자려서 아주 부지가 넓습니다.
So he's running around managing all these properties, renter and so forth. I had to
굉장히
take care of
많은
the
것들을
temple. So he
관리했습니다.
allowed us on Sunday afternoon after lunch
점심
to
공양 후에
listen to sutra for an hour, 2
한
hours.
시간,
I don't remember anymore.
2시간
And so
정도
we listened to the tape in
경을
Chinese.
들었습니다.
And then
중국말로
there's a
법문을
Hong
들었습니다.
Kong lady who would translate into English for me.
그다음에
So we played for 5-10 minutes. And
5분,
then
10분
a few
듣고
minutes, and she would translate. We keep on
번역을
doing
했습니다,
that every
누군가가.
single day. So at first
통역을
I did it
했습니다.
because I was told. I didn't like the white guy.
저는 별로 좋아하지 않았지만 그렇게 했습니다.
I never liked people anyway. And so it's not his fault, my fault. But so I did it because I was a novice, so I
저는
had
그때
to do what I was told
사미였고
as part of the
시키는
training.
대로 해야 되기
But
때문에 그렇게
after
했습니다.
about a few weeks,
근데 몇 주가 지난
we
다음에
were all looking forward to it.
우리는 다
It's so addictive, the sutra.
그거를 그 시간을
Especially
기다렸습니다.
when you have someone like Master Shenhua explain it to
선화상인이
you, like
설명을
Jingyang explaining the Dharma to the
해준
emperor.
것이
Okay, it's
청량스님이
very easy for you to enter samadhi.
국사
So we all loved it.
황제에게 하는
We all
것처럼
loved every
우리한테 산매들께 했기 때문에
the Hong Kong have nothing to do in Calgary.
굉장히 그 시간을
The
고대했습니다.
Cantonese So this lady would come over, and every day we listened to it.
그래서 맨날 우리는 들었습니다.
And we loved it. I really liked it so much.
우리는 그 법문 듣기를 되게 좋아했어요. 그냥 들으세요.
So just listen.
그냥 들으세요.
Well, just relax, listen. Don't think too
그냥
much. Don't try to
생각까지 하지
understand. If you have any
않고
questions, comments, criticism, feel free.
뭔가
Let
질문이
it loose.
있으면은 자유롭게
Because
질문하세요.
this time is an opportunity for you to dump garbage.
여러분이 쓰레기를 버릴 수 있는 좋은 기회입니다.
Just as good as now as ever. So if you have questions, ask
질문이
questions.
있으면은
I won't be able to answer everything, but we'll try to
모든
find answer
답을 해줄 수는
together.
없지만
Okay?
같이
Anything
답을
else
모색해 보면
you
좋을 것
wanna
같습니다.
add? How should we listen to this sutra?
어떻게
Just
경을
listen.
들어야
Don't
하는가?
think so much.
그냥 들으세요. 생각 많이 하지 말고.
IEW Nia Nuum.
Hello. Master Cheng Guan, I thought he only explained chapter 39 of the Avatamsaka Sutra, or did he explain the whole sutra?
The whole sutra. All of it. He explained even more than the sutra.
정관 스님은 화엄경만 강의했나요? 아니면은
Introduction of the sutra.
다른 경도
I
설했나요?
couldn't understand.
모든 경을
I rushed
설했습니다.
through it very quickly. I said, okay, I read it. I could claim I read it.
Master, for those of us who can read Chinese, do you recommend us read it?
중국말을 읽을 수 있는 사람은
No, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, it's just like I wouldn't recommend that you go to Heng Lai's Chan class either. But that's a different topic. Not good use of your time. I'm not good use of your time to read Master Cheng Guan's writing in Chinese. I would recommend you read it after you become a great bodhisattva, not before.
대보살이 된 후에 이 청량국사의 그 화엄경을 읽어도 됩니다.
You won't be able to understand it. Okay?
이해하지 못할 것입니다.
It's people like Master Shenhua's job
선화상인 같은 분의 역할입니다.
to help you understand it. It's much more productive use of your
여러분들이
time.
이해할 수 있도록 돕는 것이 선화상인 같은 분의 역할입니다. 그것이 훨씬 더 생산적입니다.
If you overdo it,
너무
because
하면
Master Cheng Guan's treatise is extremely complex.
이 청관 스님의 그
Okay, to the point where
경은 굉장히 복잡합니다.
we're lucky.
우리는 행운입니다. 선화상인이 그것을 받아서 우리한테 설명을 했기 때문에 우리가 그걸 원문을 읽으려고 하면은
Avatamsaka Sutra by itself or the treatise from Master Cheng Guan by itself will be totally lost.
우리는 길을 잃을 것입니다.
Okay, so it's not good use of our time.
그래서 우리 시간 낭비입니다.
All right, so I would not read it yet.
그래서 아직은 읽으면 안
I
됩니다.
would go slow. I would read Master Shenhua's first.
저는 선화상인의 설명을 먼저 읽을 것입니다.
Because it's a low level.
그것이
The
더
way he explains it is
낮은
kind of low.
수준이기 때문입니다.
Because he explained, I feel prematurely to his disciples, so he couldn't go into the depth
너무
of the teaching.
일찍 경을 설하면은 깊이를 다 설명할 수 없습니다.
So no. Short answer is no. Probably not good use of your time.
그래서
It's
지금
meant
읽지
for
마세요.
the scholars who
그거는
have samadhi.
산매력이 있는
Scholars
학자들이
from
읽어야
the
됩니다.
universities, I can only think of one who has samadhi. The others.
산매가 있는 학자들은 한 명밖에 없고 다른 학자들은 다 산매력이 낮습니다. 그래서 그분들도 읽더라도 이해할 수 없습니다. 시간 낭비입니다.
To get caught up on all the words
말이나 개념에 빠져서 의미가 없을 수 있습니다.
Alright. Any other questions?
다른 질문 있어요?
Yes, Fred.
Master, I would like to ask a question because sometimes when we get home, for me personally, when I get home from work and I get tired,
피곤하면
I love to listen to Dharma lecture.
법문 듣는 걸
So I
좋아합니다.
lie in bed and listen, and I know it's disrespectful, but I don't have the energy to sit up. Is that okay, Master?
Absolutely. It's better to lie down, listen or not listen at all.
누워서 법문 듣는데 그래도 괜찮습니까?
Anyway, so who cares?
우리는 신령이 아니기 때문에 괜찮습니다. 누가 상관하겠습니까?
I'm of the school that we need to be flexible.
우리는 좀 더 유연합니다.
Standards are so high,
그의
are meant for
기준 너무 높습니다.
meant for a certain kind of people.
이거는 어떤 특별한 사람들한테 해당합니다. 우리한테 다 해당하는 것이 아닙니다.
To follow
우리는 그의 기준을 따라갈 수 없습니다.
And challenge ourselves that someday we want to do it.
우리가 계속하면 언젠가는
Then maybe we understand why.
그렇게 하게 되는 날이 오면
demonstrating
이해할 수 있을 수도 있습니다.
That you can do that, they could do that. But for us,
우리한테는
I feel that especially the Chinese and Vietnamese and Koreans and Japanese,
일본 사람들
they caught up in the marks, in the
상에
forms.
집착합니다.
I don't care. Okay, what
저는
matters is the heart.
상관하지 않습니다.
Okay, if let me put it this way, if you're Catholic.
카톨릭인데
And you don't sit in full lotus.
결과부자를 앉지 않습니다.
And you wear mask.
마스크를 씁니다.
And you don't take refuge.
기일을 하지 않았습니다.
In spite of all those weaknesses.
이런 약점에도 불구하고.
If you sincerely want to say, wow, this is interesting.
굉장히 진실하게 원한다면
I like to listen to
이건 굉장히 좋은데 난 너무 듣고 싶어.
That to me
그러면
is makes it worth my time to explain it to you.
설명을 할 가치가 있습니다, 당신한테.
So whether you're lying down or you're sitting up or you're in full lotus or wide awake or asleep, it doesn't matter. Okay? And the point here is that the Dharma is supposed to help you.
법이 우리를
They're not,
도와줘야 됩니다.
if you ask Master Qingliang, he may say, I will not lie down if I listen to myself. but then you say, can I ask you a question? Can I lie down while I listen to you? He says, yes.
누운 상태에서 법문 들어도 됩니까? 라고 질문하면은
Okay, I'm going out on a limb to protect my people.
네, 그렇게 하세요.
But luckily it worked so far. Meaning that
이 의미는
you should not misunderstand
잘못
the
이해하면
Dharma. The
법을
Dharma
잘못
is
이해하면 됩니다.
extremely accommodating in my mind.
굉장히
Okay? It's
보편적입니다.
not meant for you to say, if you want to listen to my Dharma, you have to be in full lotus, you have to be concentrated, you have to have wisdom, otherwise you don't deserve to listen. It doesn't work like that.
결과부자를 해야 되고 그런 것이 아닙니다.
It's meant, if it's of any use at all to you, then
어떤 것을
it
사용할지
serves its purposes already.
어떤
Okay, so if you say that I come home, I'm tired, and I'm so tired, and I find that the way she puts it is actually I heard it differently. I find that even though when I'm tired, instead of making the face of my husband,
남편한테 인상을 쓰는 것보다는
screaming at my kids,
아이들한테 소리를 지르는
I lie
것보다는
down, turn
누워서
on you know, the Dharma. I listen to
법을
it.
듣는 것이 훨씬 낫습니다.
What is not said is that it helps me
그것은
regain my balance. It
나의
helps me
균형을 되찾는 데 도움을 줍니다.
recover quicker
다시
than
회복하는 데
otherwise.
도움이 됩니다.
Because when I listen to the Dharma, I stop
법을 들으면
thinking.
생각하는
Yes?
것이
You're tired
멈춥니다.
because the mind is so tired.
마음은 굉장히
Yes?
피곤합니다.
Those you are making so much money out there, especially in pandemic era,
돈을 아무리 벌어도
it's amazing. You still have a job.
팬데믹 시대에 아직
And you are
직업이 있습니다.
you are so busy working, and you go home, you're so tired. Okay, we understand that. And for the Dharma to be of service to you, whether you're sitting, or you're lying down, or you're sleeping, or
앉거나
you're snoring,
눕거나
okay, whatever
자거나
helps. We say,
무엇을
yes, by
하든
all means, please do it.
법을 듣는 게 도움이 된다면은 그렇게 하세요.
If other people say no,
다른
we have to.
사람들은
If especially the Chinese Master Shuino, he says,
중국 사람들,
if
선사상이
you listen to Dharma
법을
and you're not
듣는데
respectful,
존중하면서 들어야
I
합니다.
remember reading that somewhere in English, in the English translation. He says,
영어 번역을 한번 봤는데 선화상인이
remember this. He says, if
만약에
do you have a sutra anywhere here?
경을
You read
읽는데
sutras, and if you leave the sutra open, you put it on your chair, okay, and the sutra sticks out, you know what happens? Weito Bodhisattva will be standing there with his arms like this, making sure that if the sutra falls off the chair, he'll be catching it 24 hours a day. And I said, how cool! Weito is serving on me.
경을 들고 내 앞에 서 있는다. 얼마나 멋진가.
I loved it.
굉장히 좋습니다.
Later I
좋아했습니다.
realized who Weito was. Weito was the same level, Jingliang,
웨이토가 측량하고
sacrilegious. And look,
똑같은
I'm
경지입니다.
still around. So you see, the point is that actually it's funny because back then I said, I don't care, I'm tired.
나는 너무
Either
피곤해서
I
상관하지
read it
않았습니다.
lying down, okay, I don't read it at all. Okay? And
누워서 읽어도
I
다
choose to read it.
읽지 못했습니다.
And until I fall asleep, you know, if it falls down, it falls on the floor, it falls on the floor.
누워서
I
읽다
don't need to
보면은
make it
잠이
fall on the floor.
들고
There's Weito Bodhisattva who's not doing his job.
경이 바닥에 떨어져 있습니다.
So it's funny back then I
그
disagree
당시에
with
저는
I say, I don't care.
선화상인한테 선화상인과
I
반대했습니다.
disagree here. I'd rather
저는
read it instead
차라리
of
읽겠습니다.
not reading it because it helps me.
읽는 것이
Back then I had
저한테
that
도움이
attitude already. So now you're
되었기
asking
때문에
me, after 20 years of doing that,
20년 동안 그렇게
expect me
했는데
to change my mind? No, I still feel the same way. Okay?
저는 여전히
If it
똑같이
helps you,
생각합니다. 또 그렇게 도움이
by
된다면
all means. Okay. And,
그렇게 하세요.
to me,
저한테는
you should not misunderstand the Chinese
잘못 이해하면
teaching.
안 됩니다.
The Chinese meant to do this. When he said,
중국인들이 그렇게 얘기하는 것은
you have to be respectful, you have
되게
to,
존중해야 되고
have clean
경을
clothes, brush your teeth,
이빨을 닦고 양치를 하고 메이크업을 하고
put on new clothes,
새 옷을 입고 샤워를 하고 굉장히 존중하는 마음으로 공경하게
ideal conditions.
경을 읽으라는 것은 굉장히 이상적인 환경을 얘기합니다. 우리와 같은 그런 사람들을 위한 것이 아니다. 우리는 가족을 돌봐야 되고
struggling to just survive.
살아야 됩니다.
And if that's the case, then
그런 경우에
Dharma is of no use to us.
그런 경우에는 더 이상 법이 우리한테 도움이 되지 않습니다.
Don't worry about that.
그거에 대해서 걱정하지 마세요.
If you know, it's meant to be
그거는
advice for
우리한테
ideal circumstances.
아주 이상적인 환경을 상황을 설명하는 것입니다.
Hard day's work, you're tired.
고된 하루를 마치고 피곤합니다.
If the Dharma helps you when you're like that, by all means,
우리
go for it.
법이 나를 그렇게 누워 있을 때 도와준다면은 걱정하지
And if you go to
마세요.
hell, please don't quote me.
만약에 그렇다고 지옥에 가면은 지옥에 간다면 나한테 전화하지 마세요.
No wonder. Do we have a good relationship with Wei To?
우리는 위토 장군하고 좋은 관계인가요?
Okay, next question. Wei Mountain.
Amitabha. Master, I think Daniel's earlier question was the monk observing these 10 precepts to help him attain purity. Now the question is, can we still obtain purity while we mix up with the other people in the world and being contaminated? Or we absolutely have to do it that way to obtain purity?
You're asking the wrong person again. Oh my God. Of course, when you're with others, it's impossible to be pure, from my personal perspective. Okay. Remember I said maybe when you get the high level, like a 10th ground Bodhisattva,
한 15살이 되면은
be in the mud and not get the mud touch you. When the Chinese and the Buddhists have
진흙을 밟아도 진흙에
the
발이
lotus
붙지
flower
않습니다.
grows in the mud doesn't touch the lotus flower. There's in a soil of lotus flower. Baloney. Not for all of us.
하지만 우리한테는 아닙니다.
Okay, so maybe it applies to Master Chengguan.
청관한 스님한테는 적용될지 모릅니다.
Certainly applies to me. It doesn't apply to.
하지만 저한테는 아닙니다. 그리고 대부분 사람들한테도 아닙니다.
My Chinese teacher. But this is why little knowledge is very dangerous.
그래서 적은 지식은 굉장히 위험합니다. 우리는 순수해야 되기 때문에 이렇게 해야 된다. 그런 것이 아닙니다. 카톨릭들이 우리는 그렇게 순수할 필요가 없습니다.
Okay? At least in America.
여기는 미국입니다.
I'm joking, of course.
물론 농담입니다.
Purity
순수한 거는
is not a state.
경계가 아닙니다.
Purity
순수한 것은
is an aspiration.
염원하는 것입니다.
No one can be pure except for the Buddha.
아무도 부처님을 제외한 누구도 그렇게 순수할 수 없습니다.
If that's so, what's the point in teaching?
그렇다면
teaching about purity,
개를 가르치는 것이 무슨 의미가 됩니까?
Your lay on a lay person's bed. It's a standard that you aspire to.
그거는 기준입니다. 순수에 대한 정도입니다.
Become a Buddha quicker
그것은
than otherwise.
빨리 부처가 되기 위해 도와주는 것입니다.
Okay, so of course, this is a mystery that the Chinese and the Vietnamese and the Koreans like to mystify and they say, oh my God, you have to be so pure for you to become enlightened. Baloney.
순수하면은 깨달을 수 있다. 그런 건 거짓입니다. 그런 것이 없습니다. 이 사람들은 깨달지 못하기 때문에 말도 안 되는 얘기를 합니다.
It's not the way you think.
그렇게 여러분들이 생각하는 대로 하는 게가 아닙니다.
This is what I fault the Buddhists in general.
대부분 불자들은
I'm from the outside looking in. I'm really a nobody, so that's why I can say anything I want without getting too much attention. But the point being that all these people said, these are standards. You have to be, you cannot lie, you cannot kill, you cannot steal.
죽이지 말고, 훔치지 말고.
But most of us lie.
대부분 사람들은
Most of us
거짓말합니다.
kill. You walk on the
대부분
floor,
사람들은
you're killing
죽입니다.
bugs and microbes like crazy.
우리는 아주 미세한 곤충
Anyone?
막 죽입니다.
I do. Okay. I can't tell you how often I lie during the day.
얼마나 많이 거짓말을 하는지 모를 것입니다.
But I feel very bad about it.
하지만 그거에 대해서
And that's precepts, by the way. It says you're not supposed to
기분이
lie.
좋지
But listen,
않습니다.
if your wife looks at you
하지만
and
그
say, "You like my hair?"
부인이 나를 보고 내 머리 마음에 들어요라고 묻는데
What are you going to say? Husbands.
뭐라고 대답을 하겠습니까?
You better tell the truth, right?
진실을 말하는 게 좋습니다.
Look marvelous.
물론 아주 멋져.
Not funny.
재미없죠.
No wonder you guys are not doing well.
그래서 여러분들이 그렇게 잘 못 지내는 것입니다.
The point being that
요점은
it's a standard of purity
기준입니다.
that
순수의 기준입니다.
the Bodhisattvas say
부처와
that's the
보살은
standard you need to reach, and by trying to reach there,
거기에 그 단계에 도달하려고
the harder you
하는
work,
그런 경지입니다.
the quicker you make it.
열심히 할수록 더 빨리 그런 경지에 도달합니다.
And one thing that, by the way, that most people,
대부분 사람들은
the self-proclaimed experts about purity and about Buddhism,
불교의 전문가들이어서
that you need to be absolutely pure. No, you don't.
순수해야 된다라고 하지만
You can
아닙니다.
be not pure and yet make it.
여러분 순수해질 수가 없습니다.
And the exercise is that you will not learn unless you make mistakes. So these purity are
이 순수한 거는 기준입니다.
whether you made a mistake or not. Okay?
우리가 실수를 하느냐 안 하느냐.
Part of the process is that you need to know what the standard is. Okay? Black or white. Okay? And then what happens? What you need to learn to do when you recognize you crossed the line. What do you do to recover? And that is called what? Anyone? YouTube. What is that called? What do you do when you make a mistake?
우리가 실수를 하면 어떻게 무엇을 합니까?
You create offenses.
우리가 잘못을 저지르면 무엇을 합니까?
Knowing what to do is called what? Wisdom.
아무도 그것을
You think wisdom is like perfection?
시간 낭비라고 생각하지 않는다.
Wisdom is to know how to recover when you are in trouble.
우리가
If you're tired, how do you
잘못했을 때
recover? If
어떻게
your head is not clear, how do
우리가
you
문제가
recover?
있을 때 어떻게 회복하는 것인가? 그것이 지혜입니다. 우리가 피곤할 때, 우리가 머리가 아플 때 어떻게 회복하는 것인가? 그것이 지혜입니다.
Does YouTube still have a question, or are we done with that? Go ahead, YouTube.
The question is from Ru Ming. Master, because Master Qing Liang always had his beads, I assume he was always reciting. Is that correct? Do you recommend that for all of us?
When I heard that, my first question was, I said, what about when he goes to the bathroom? Excuse me for being so Americanized. I said, what do you do? So a question that's a mystery that still remains unanswered in my mind. Okay, I'd love to ask him, Master, can I ask you a question, please? what do you do with the beads when you go to the bathroom and you need to wash your hands? Because he says his hands will not be apart from the beads, right? I said, what do you do when you wash your hands?
손에 염주를 떨어뜨리지 않는다고 했는데 화장실에 가면 어떡합니까? 손을 어떻게 씻습니까?
One hand? You wash your hands like
한
this?
손으로 씻습니까?
You guys are too much.
너무합니다.
Okay, so again, you cannot take it literally. In my mind,
문자 그대로 받아들이지 마세요.
I feel that there's some practical considerations that have not worked out yet. But what does he do with the beads? I imagine he recites the Buddha's name. That's what you're supposed to do with the beads.
염주라는 거는 항상 연불을 한다는 의미입니다. 항상 하루 종일 연불을 한다.
To help you remind you to remember to recite the Buddha's name.
이 염주라는 거는 항상 연불할 수 있게끔 상기시켜주는 것이기 때문에
Not just for you, for the great
항상 연불을 합니다.
If they do it, we might as well. The great bodhisattvas, they recite the Buddha's name.
위대한 보살님들은
That's what they do.
연불을 합니다.
Constantly.
계속
24 hours.
24시간 내내.
징량, Master 징량, Master 인광, he recited the Buddha's name 24 hours a day.
인광 스님도
transcribing
24시간 내내 연불했습니다.
24 hours a day. When he was working, he's still reciting the Buddha's name.
24시간 내내
He's great strength bodhisattva. He's a Buddha. So when you get to a high level bodhisattva,
높은 경지 보살님들은 항상 연불합니다.
I'm a Tahan person. I don't recite the Buddha's name.
나는 선언하기 때문에 연불을 하지 않아. 그러면 그런 것은 너무 수준이 낮습니다. 선하는 사람들 그렇게 생각하나요?
Okay, so you heard it from us. Okay, we are 위양.
우리는 위양종입니다. 그래서 연불을 합니다.
Yes, wait more time.
Master, I wear the beads when I go to the bathroom, and then some people approach me and say I'm being disrespectful. Is that correct?
Yes.
Am I being disrespectful when I go to the bathroom and have my bead with me?
염주를 쥐고 화장실에 가는 거는 좋지 않습니까? 좋지 않습니다. 염주는 더러운 곳에 가면 안 됩니다.
Because you may not be aware of it, but there's a certain odor, certain gases in there, and that's not very good. So you usually people when they go to the bathroom.
화장실에 갈 때
why I wanted to ask Master 징량 myself. When you go to the bathroom, you put your beads outside before you walk in.
염주를 밖에 두고 가세요.
Then your hands are disconnected from your beads.
그러면은 염주가 손에서 떨어집니다.
Okay? So that's why it's right. You don't want to bring the beads inside the bathroom.
염주를 화장실 안으로 가지고 가지 마세요. 혹은 손을 닦을 때 염주를 손에 들지 않습니다.
Thank you for pointing it out. I didn't want to bring it up because it's too detailed.
너무 자세한 상황이라서
I don't want to corrupt them.
너무 많은 얘기를 하고 싶지 않았지만.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Now, the next part about the prologue of Master Qingliang is that it's very, very scholarly. But so I read it.
그 칭량이 그 화엄경은 굉장히 학문적이라서 17년 전에 처음 읽었을 때 굉장히 부담스러웠습니다. 최근에 다시 읽었는데 제가 강의를 하기 위해서 다시 읽었어야 했습니다.
And I realized how it dawned on me that Master Hsu's explanation and Master Ching Liang's bringing up these topics are very important. Okay, that's why I decided to go through that with you as well.
이 진관스님이 굉장히 이걸 강조해서 같이 살펴봤습니다.
That I glossed over the last 15 years when I lectured, because I was more interested in helping you develop samadhi.
저는
But now you're at the level where you need to.
지난 15년간 동안 삼매력을 높이는 데 집중을 해서 강의를 하지 않았는데 지금 사람들이 지혜가 필요했기 때문에 강의를 시작합니다.
So you go through the 10 doors approach to analyzing a sutra to help you comprehend what the sutra is about. The first one is cause conditions or why the teaching occurred.
경을 설하는 10가지 방법 중 첫 번째는 경이 설해진 이유를 보는 것입니다. 성현들의 가르침은 많은 이유로 일어납니다. 법화경은
No, go back to that slide, please. Okay, the Lotus Sutra. It says that in the Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha says all Buddhas appear in the world
모든
for one
부처님이
great matter.
세상에 출현한 이유는 한 가지 이유입니다. 중생들에게 부처님의 경지를 소개하기 위해서, 중생들에게 부처님의 그 지혜를 주기 위해서, 중생들에게 부처님이 깨달음 경지까지 깨달을 수 있도록 하기 위해서 중생들에게 부처님이 길을 갈 수 있게끔 하기 위해서 경을 설한다.
Okay, and it may happen. You may awaken to it while lying down listening to a tape.
우리는 누워서 경을 들으면서도 깨달을 수 있습니다.
It could happen. So the teaching is never that rigid, never that narrow-minded. Okay, and number 4, to lead to enter the path of the Buddha's knowledge and vision. Okay, meaning that you can be the same as the Buddha. So the Buddhas appear in the world because they want you to be just like them.
세상에
Not just
나타난 이유는
God. Do you hear that, Daniel?
우리가 부처가 되게끔 하기 위해서입니다.
He's gone. Okay, but he's still not in full lotus. Okay, so the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha appeared in the world, says, I want you to know that I'm cool. I know so much. Okay, and you know what? My knowledge is so cool. I know all there is to know about the world, about making money, about becoming.
나는 세상의 모든 지식이 갖고 있어. 나는 어떻게 돈을 버는지 알고 있고, 나는 모든 것을 다 알고 있어.
And it's possible. And then you yourself
그다음에
can be like
너도
me.
나처럼 될 수 있어.
And the interesting thing that
흥미로운 것은
about all Buddhas is that as soon
모든
as they
부처님이
become Buddhas,
부처님이 되자마자
they speak the
그들은
Avatamsaka Sutra.
화엄경을 다 설했습니다.
That's how important it is.
그것이 굉장히 중요한 것입니다.
It's a goal. It is a vow they made. In the future, when I
미래에
become a Buddha,
내가 부처가
I will
되면
speak the Avatamsaka Sutra.
나는 화엄경을 설할 것이다.
Next. Why?
왜냐면은
Because my job as a Buddha
나의 직업은 부처이다.
to help you, those with the greatest
사람들이
potentials. That's
그 잠재력이
why I came to
있는
the world to help
사람들을
you,
도와서
those of you who has the potentials.
돕는 것이 나의 역할이다.
So you can tell, as so clearly, the reason we're able to listen to the sutra
우리가 이 경을 들을 수 있는
is
이유는
not haphazard. It's because we have the potential.
우리가 잠재력이 있기 때문에 가능성이 있기
All of us
때문입니다.
have the potential
모든
to be able
사람 다
to
가능성이
listen
있습니다.
to the sutra,
경을
to
들으면
look at Master 정관's explanation,
청관 스님이
Master
설명을
Shinhua's
듣고
explanation.
천하상인이 설명을
It's
듣고
because
그런 거는
we have
우리가
Mahayana potentials.
대승의 가능성이 있기 때문입니다. 대승의 잠재성이 있기 때문입니다.
We're special, I think.
그래서 특별합니다.
Okay, and the standards that he sets in this
그가 세운
particular
기준은
sutra is so high.
굉장히 높습니다.
It sets the standards for what is called the ultimate
굉장히 궁극적인 가르침에 대한
which is not
기준입니다.
beyond complete eradication of your greed,
완전하게
your
우리가
anger,
설명할
your
수
stupidity
없습니다.
in all living beings. Okay, and in order to understand this ultimate teaching,
이 궁극적인 가르침을 이해하기 위해서는
to save all living beings at all times, at all places.
모든 곳에서 항상
That's the only way.
모든 중생을 제도하겠다.
Buddhism is not meant for you to study the book
불교는
and stay behind this enclosure
책을
of
공부하고
this property
안전한
and
곳에
expect to become a Buddha. Doesn't work.
있어서 안전한 곳에서
You
있어서
have to try to save
부처가
all
되기를
living
기다리는
beings.
것이 아니고 모든 중생을 도와야 합니다.
Okay, and after you become a Buddha,
부처가 된 후에
it's only in order to save even more living
더
beings.
많은 중생을 제도해야 합니다.
Okay, another cause and a condition is to liberate living beings from their own obstructions. Why is the resolution so bad on my
모든
monitor? Is this
중생을
my monitor or just?
해탈하게 해야 합니다.
Is that a Google thing, Google Slides thing, where you lose the resolution is very poor, which is
해상도가 별로 좋지 않습니다.
a discourse problem.
그것이 무슨 문제입니까?
Okay, and this teaching is to help
가르침을
you know how to liberate living beings from their own obstructions.
장애로부터 어떻게 자유롭게 되는지를 알려줍니다.
Okay, when talking about living beings, about you, meaning that
중생은
you are limiting yourself. You are obstructing yourself.
우리는 한계가 있습니다. 제약이 있습니다.
It's not for me. I don't have time.
시간이 없습니다.
I am too busy.
너무 바쁩니다.
Other obligations.
다른 의무가 있습니다.
And what you don't realize
우리가 깨닫지 못하는 것은 그렇게 얘기하면 우리를 정당화합니다. 그거는 우리를 모자라게 하는 것입니다. 우리가 큰 그림을 보지 못하게 하는 것입니다.
Okay? And that's my experience been the last 15 years.
그것이 지난 15년간 제 경험입니다. 우리 스스로가 우리를 멈추게 합니다. 다른 사람이 우리를 멈추게 하지 않습니다.
You happy you come to the temple, we nice to you, you say happy. Oh, I'm so happy. I'll be back next.
절에 오면 너무 행복합니다.
And then you get into an argument with someone else at the
그다음에
temple.
누구랑 싸웁니다.
Something else. It's so bad.
그러면은 너무 안 좋아. 이 사람들 너무 안 좋아.
Not a good place.
별로 좋지 않은 곳이야.
So you quit.
그래서 그만둡니다.
Okay, and that's the typical.
그것이 일반적입니다.
The self-limitation.
자기를 한계 짓는 일반적인 것입니다.
This is too much.
이건 너무하다.
You ain't seen nothing yet. You think it's too much.
너무하다고 생각합니다.
Okay, so it's living beings. They limit themselves by making excuses.
핑계를 냅니다.
Okay. And also in the sutra, you will also see what is so-called the Catholics call miracles.
기적을 바랍니다.
Okay. In Buddhism, there's so many miracles.
불교에는 굉장히 많은 기적이 있습니다.
We use the word inconceivable.
상상할 수 없는 기적이 많습니다.
That when you talk about miracles,
기적이라고 얘기를 하면
it's analogous to extraordinary. It's fantastic. Inconceivable means that you cannot even imagine, you cannot explain,
설명할 수
you cannot
없는,
conceive of.
이해할 수 없는.
Okay, so that's the state well beyond miracles.
그런
Okay.
경지는
What kind of miracles,
기적보다
what
훨씬
kind
더
of
그 이상을
inconceivable
의미합니다.
states we're talking about? The sutra talks about their states where
경지에 대해서
the tip of a
얘기합니다.
hair,
머리카락 끝에서 머리카락 끝이
the entire universe,
모든
entire
우주를
world,
포함하고
the tip of a hair. Okay, this morning
머리카락
we talked about
하나에.
we talk about
오늘 아침에 홍라이 스님이
talked about the 방레문
방거사에 대해서 얘기를 했습니다. 방거사의 부인.
I see the patriarchs. I don't think they quoted right. I was careful when I was younger. I read about those stories because I never trusted the English translation, so I read it in Chinese.
저는 중국말로 읽었습니다. 이거 얘기를.
The woman said, the wife said, I see on the tip
부인이 말하기를
a blade of grass, the intent
풀 한 포기에서
of the patriarchs, whatever it means. Okay, so on the tip of a blade of grass, she sees what the patriarchs meant, meaning
조사의 뜻을 읽었어요.
that the tip of a blade of grass contains the patriarch's teachings, the insights of the patriarchs. And here, this
조사의
is
가르침이 있습니다.
just Chinese woman. Okay?
무슨
Here we're talking about
여자분이
the Buddhas and
얘기합니다.
Bodhisattva who says, boys and girls, on the tip of your hair pore,
머리카락 끝에
you
터널
can
하나에
manifest. When manifest, the entire world.
온 세계가
They
다
see the entire
나타나
world.
있다.
The Milky Way can be contained, can be seen on top of your hair.
머리카락
Tip of
하나에
your hair.
모든 세계를 볼 수 있습니다.
That's why it's called inconceivable.
그래서
Okay?
상상할 수 없는 경제입니다.
One place is all places. One time is all time.
곳이
That's the state
모든
of the
곳이고
flower
한
drawing sutra.
시간이 모든 시간이
Okay? It's not. So that's why people said, asked earlier, am I supposed to understand it and read the explanation?
그래서 옛날에 읽었을
It
때
will not help.
설명을 읽었지만
It has to be
별로 도움되지 않았습니다.
groomed. You have to be prepared so that one day you'll be ready to be able to research it on your own. Okay. Right now it's premature. I'm sorry. I think time is up. Next time we pick it up from slide 18. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I talked so much today.
너무 많은 얘기를 했습니다.
I'm hungry again.
너무 많은 얘기를 해서 배고픕니다.
Thank you all. You're a good sport.
감사합니다.
Okay. Korea has no questions. You all lost? Yeah? It get easier. Don't worry. The first part here, it's to give you a flavor of how profound it is, but again, remember, don't try to understand. Just listen, because what happened is that your mind. This is what happens to all of you. Your mind is that I don't get it, and you reject it. Okay, this Avatamsaka world is that you cannot get it. Forget it. There's no way for you to get it. You just have to listen to it and let go of that demand that you must get it. It's nothing to get. Whether you get it or not, a world can still exist at the tip of your hairboard. I don't get it. Okay? That's what makes it wonderful. You don't need to get it. There's no need to get it. Just listen. And someday you get it without trying to understand. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Okay. Sayonara. Wow.